Big it up, big it up. Yeah. Hear my voice. Yeah. Here we go, go. Yeah. Here we go, go.
What is up, everybody? It is Friday, November 11th, and welcome to the Casual Wrestling Community Show. I am your host, the Notorious Nerdy D, and I am joined today by the co-host of this show, Level Up Lauren.
What's up, y'all?
Today we are going to break down the best and worst in pro wrestling for all the true casual fans out there. So whether you are listening on podcast networks or watching on YouTube, make sure to like and leave us a comment on this week's episode. Before we get going, I'd like to say congratulations to you on winning the casual wrestling pay-per-view title.
I actually didn't even know that I won this amazing belt right here. So, just so y'all know, I am the champion. I beat you. I actually had forgotten. It feels good to have my baby back.
Yeah,
Ribs.
I mean, I was a little disappointed. I lost Bailey and Bianca. I thought I had that one. I got those flipped around. I keep telling everybody that Crown Jewel was predictable, and I predicted it all wrong. So that's how that.
I predicted it right.
That's
so
how that
we're
goes.
good.
A little bit of housekeeping for you guys. It was another good week of The Daily Show. If you're not watching, every Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m., I am going over the top 5 things you need to know that day about casual pro wrestling news. That show is it's about 15 to 20 minutes long. It's just a quick news kind of digestion, and then we move on. And then this show will be taking over the Friday spot. We'll do the show live at 1 p.m. every Friday. This show will be longer. This show will be the format of the podcast, but it felt redundant to do the same show twice in one day. So here we are. We're doing this. Remember that we are on patreon.com/the casual wrestling show. It is 100% free to follow. That is where I post all of the channel and community updates. So make sure to please join. Like I said, it is free. I am losing camera like crazy right now.
Oh, no.
Talk for a second.
All right. So
Tell them about
the podcast, the Daily Life podcast is pretty cool. I like watching you while I'm working. So if you have a little bit extra time, tune in or watch it later on. It's my daily dose of all wrestling news, and I find out new things that I didn't know about, because you've got like all these little secret ways of figuring out stuff that I've never even seen before.
Kinda. Yeah, I think so.
But I do want to let everybody know something funny.
What's that?
I saw a TikTok yesterday. Giselle and Tom Brady. This is off topic a little bit.
Oh, God. Okay, go ahead.
And I was so excited to tell you about it. And so we went to our kids' practice, and I said, oh, my God, I know exactly why Giselle and Tom Brady broke up. And you're like, why? What happened? And I was like, well, she told him, if you're going to chase another ring, I'm going to beat you. And she's going to join a flag football for women and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, you're a little gullible.
Yeah.
Just a little bit gullible. If you
And then as soon as I said it out loud, I was like, okay,
I had about a 30-minute laugh on that
that's
one.
crazy.
All right, so remember that we are on patreon.com/the casual wrestling show. It is free to follow. That is where we post channel updates and community updates. So please join the Patreon so you can know what's going on. This week's show is brought to you by Patreon producers It's Zenny and LGRSM. Thank you guys for being patrons of the show. Lauren, let me talk to you about what you missed this week in pro wrestling. So the first story that I talked about this week that I thought had a little bit of relevance was on Monday Night Raw, Nikki Ash threw the 24/7 title into the trash can. And there was a little debate on Monday whether it was retired or not. But as we got later into the week, WWE confirmed that the 24/7 title has been retired. Are you going to miss the belt on television?
No, because I didn't really see it. Like, it was very sporadic. So actually on that topic, I was reading, and Dana Brooke, she came out and basically was like real upset about it being retired. She's like, I put in so much work into, elevating this belt and blah, 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 blah.
I saw that. I saw her. I don't want to be like super critical of Dana Brooke because I don't see any reason to be, but I do feel like if she's working an angle, cool, you do your thing.
Yeah.
If there's any seriousness in this idea that she believes she elevated that title to a level that like people gave a shit, you're out of your mind. Like nobody for the last year, for sure, and maybe even longer than that. Nobody's giving a shit about this
It
title.
was a joke belt. It was like
It would pop up
funny.
a couple weeks and then it would disappear. They would defend it at the bar. They defend it like, and when you look at the list, I read off the list of people who won the belt. It was like Bad
Who was
Bunny.
that guy with the shorts and the dreads? The little one.
Reggie.
Yeah. I don't know his name.
It wasn't even a mid-card title. It was the low-card title. And I mean, I get like R-Truth was the only person who made that belt matter because it was just a prop for him to be funny.
Yes.
So I mean, nobody's really missing the 24/7. Dana Brooke. I mean, look, I called for like Becky Lynch to win it at one point to try to elevate it up, but I do think that was a little dead in the water.
We had forgotten about it. I was
I mean, it disappeared for so long.
We looked at each other and we're like, oh, shit.
I thought there was a chance it just didn't come back at some point. So,
yeah,
it was what it was. Another thing that happened this week, Lauren, Logan Paul has basically worked the wrestling world into a frenzy on multiple different topics. Number one, I had a discussion this week about on whether or not I really felt like Logan Paul was injured. And I've seen now on TikTok and YouTube, a lot of people coming back and throwing a lot of different evidence out that has gave me less clarity than more clarity as far as it comes to that. We both watched the match. Yeah. I've watched the match twice. I never once in watching that match could figure out where he got injured. Where would the injury have taken place? Typically you would wince, right? Your facial expressions would change. Your body would tense up a little bit. You just can't be that much of a soldier when you like tear an MCL or an ACL or a meniscus in your knee. And I've been seeing a lot of people say, well, you could continue to walk. I get that. You can continue to train, which is what he's continuing to do on social media.
Yeah.
I get that. But like at a certain point, this is Logan Paul we're talking about, right? He is the man. He's the troll. Why would he not? And in pro wrestling, this is a thing, right? Like they do this all the time with us. So-and-so has a head injury. So-and-so has a neck. So why wouldn't they do it with Logan?
So-and-so broke their nose.
I don't know why this one to me kind of stung differently, that I was like, we're being lied to. But like in all reality, that's what wrestling is, right? It's
True.
This is just an injury storyline. And I think what it is because he presented it and WWE didn't present it to me, right?
Yeah.
We didn't get like a WWE update that said Logan Paul is injured. What we got was Logan in social media on Instagram going, I tore this, I possibly tore this. I think what happened here, Lauren, I'll be realistic.
Okay.
I think he came out of that match, his leg hurt like a motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Something's not right. And he sits down on the training table and as all doctors kind of do, they go, let me tell you what this could be, what it probably is. And then you're going to have to get x-rays and MRIs and ultrasounds, and we'll get to the bottom of it. I get the feeling that the doctor sat him down. He's coming off the high of this match, and she's like, look, we're looking at probably an MCL.
Yeah.
We're looking at probably a torn meniscus, and we don't know at this point. It could be an ACL. I think Logan grabbed his phone and said, look what the fuck happened to me. Look what happened to me. So I think that's more of what happened. I don't know that any of that's been confirmed. I think he would confirm it. I think WWE would confirm it. I think they would put more emphasis on like how much he's going to have to rehab and things like that. I feel like at the end of the day, he probably, one of the three maybe was injured. Maybe he just fucked his leg up a little bit and it was sore and it was once again just a story to sell the injury. The other thing that Logan Paul did, Laura, John Cena is rumored to be coming back for WrestleMania 39. Logan threw his fucking hat into the mix. He tweeted out the shifty eye emoji, which was like, hey man, I'd like a little piece of that action. And once again, here we go with Theory. Theory is put into a position of like, what do you do with Theory at this point? And that leads me to the next thing that happened this week is Theory attempted to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase, which you saw. So this is not news to you, but like, he then came out and said like, all day Theory strong, whatever, he's hyping himself up. But the reality was that not one of the most bizarre cash in moments that you haven't seen a ton of them. I get it, but
I haven't, but like I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is this really the moment right now that he's going to do it? Like, it was underwhelming.
So I've tried to explain this away. I've tried to explain the logic in this, and I've tried to defend Triple H a little bit and going, I understand what he was trying to do. And I still think that I have my thumb on what Triple H was trying to do, but people have poked holes into my theory.
Give me your theory.
People have poked holes in my theory because there is a lot wrong with this, right? So here's number one. I think that when Seth Rollins came out to cut his promo, he was definitely trying to sell us on the idea the United States Championship is the main championship on Monday Night Raw. That's what it is. He sold us on it. That's all right. From here on out, Triple H, we're behind you. We'll roll with it, right? My problem is by Theory trying to cash in, it gave legitimacy to that belt. Here is the hole that is poked in my story. There was an open challenge. Why would you waste your briefcase? Why wouldn't he have just been the first one out there to challenge? If that was the belt that he really wanted and he knew there was an open challenge, why not just show up?
True.
You know,
I mean, my first thought was like, who the fuck hates Austin Theory in the company?
I mean, there's a lot of people saying that. I don't think
that's what I thought.
And I don't think that's the case. I'm erring on the side that, like, I don't know what that briefcase could have done for him moving forward. There's no plan. They have a plan
why
for
not
Roman.
Just keep it? Like, you don't have to cash it in.
But you do. You do have to cash it in. And I think that they want to have WrestleMania have a Money in the Bank match, which means he was up against a clock against WrestleMania. There is no intention for him to cash that in on Roman Reigns before WrestleMania.
WrestleMania is not really that far away.
It's not that far away. I mean, we're once again, we're coming around the corner back to another WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I do think that the idea was when they sat down, they really looked at it, they go, there's no reason for you to do this. And if you go lose this to Roman, it has the same effect. At least this got people talking, right? It elevated the United States title. It made it feel legitimate. I just think Triple H's messaging was bad. Like, I think that you know, there should have been some kind of statement that said, we are elevating this title to a major title. Even if that doesn't mean anything, still say it so that it feels like it means something.
I agree.
Braun Strowman took a hot shit on the IWC this week and smaller wrestlers. So he came out and tweeted after his match with Omos, which I had no problem. It was a good match. But he came out and basically shit on flippy flip wrestlers and said that, like, what you guys do isn't really that impressive, and what us big guys do is impressive.
Yeah.
And I tend to, you know this, I tend to err on the side of I prefer bigger wrestlers.
Yeah.
I prefer the gladiators. Now, after kind of digesting everything, Braun Strowman is just the opposite of the IWC, which is not good either. We need both type of wrestlers.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I understand the need for, this is going to be portrayed the wrong way, but the circus act wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
The Circus Soleil, the flips, the jumps, the kicks,
The showy.
the showman of pro wrestling. There is a need for those guys. Those guys will never main event. Those guys are a WWE card. They're never going to be the last show. You're not getting Rey Mysterio and Ricochet ending the show at WrestleMania. It's just not happening, right? You're always going to get your behemoths, your giants. But I think on the split end of that, like with Braun Strowman and Omos, I have no problem. It was impressive. It's two big guys doing their thing. But let's not also overreact to that match. That wasn't Hulk Hogan. That wasn't Andre the Giant. Like, you guys can give yourself as many fucking stars as you want for that match, but it was a good match by two big guys. I hope we get more. I hope Omos keeps coming along because I saw sparks of what could be, you know, potentially a good thing going there. The other thing is apparently Braun Strowman has a little bit of backstage heat. The guys in the back, but why wouldn't you? When you say shit like that,
Then they're gonna be like, all right, motherfucker.
you look around the roster, there's a lot of flippy guys on the WWE roster, and nobody's gonna take well to that kind of conversation. The thing I did read this morning was that while I think they've said Braun Strowman has actually been on his best behavior in person. Now, I think, let me tell you, I'll give you the backstory. Braun Strowman has been portrayed as having an ego and rubbing people the wrong way.
In real life or on?
In real life.
Okay.
In the locker room, I think he says a lot. I think he believes in himself, and maybe to a level that everybody else doesn't believe in him, and it doesn't translate into the ring as far as like crowd reaction and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, one of the reasons he was let go the first time was because of this, because he wasn't just beloved in the back. And so I think he's come back, and they've said he's been on his best behavior, but I think they're saying he has social media brawn. And social media brawn, I think, likes to fight with the trolls in the IWC.
So
sort of like me. So I get it. Like, I understand that, like, there are certain things I want to say, and I know they're going to trigger reaction. And I want that because I want to distance myself from those people and go, I am a casual wrestling fan. Let me explain why.
So does it really matter what you say on social media?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's an extension of your character at this point. Does it matter in a sense of, like, I think, you know, when they say, like, all publicity is good publicity, this just sets up storylines, right? You can just start having little guys attack Braun Strowman, and there you go. Yeah. You got 3 months of wrestling. So I don't always know that it has to be, when you say, does it matter? I think it matters, but does it have to be a negative? I don't think that you have to portray that as a negative thing at all.
Yeah.
I think that it's just, it matters that it happens, and I think people pay attention. I think WWE has to pay attention. They'll have to acknowledge it. They'll either punish him. He'll either come out and he'll lose a match to a little flippy guy so that they go like, hey, slap on the wrist, don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Or they'll put him in some stories with little guys and he wins, and they go,
what if
we're going to lay into that persona.
Like all planned, though.
It
like,
could be.
Do exactly
I mean,
that.
It always can be. That's the problem, right? Especially with this Triple H era. You don't know what he says. Like, hey, slide a tweet out there like this, and let's see
they get all
if we
these
can
fan videos submitted. So I mean,
let's see if we can get everybody talking. You get shows talking about it, and all of a sudden,
it's something.
We're
talking about it right now.
That's what I'm saying. Last with Braun Strowman, Jeff Jarrett came out and took a shot at him on AEW Dynamite. Called WWE the Banana Nose Circus. Said Braun was a fake monster in red skinny jeans.
Yeah.
You know, I do believe that AEW is going to regret that hiring. He's just another guy that's like stuck in the past.
Yeah.
Last thing you missed this week, Lauren, was Paige was cleared to wrestle. And we saw that. We watched that.
Yeah.
So you didn't miss it, but you missed me talking about it. Mm-hmm. I asked the question, and I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think WWE regrets letting her walk at this point?
Yes.
Really?
I think so, because you could have still kept her in the loop on things and stuff. I'd seen an interview with her and was it Renee?
Yeah.
Where she basically was like, I was trying to pitch to them, like, let me be a manager, let me do this, let me do that. And they were like, no, just stay at home. You're good. Just like relax, chill, work on you.
I get it. I think that though, for all of these, so she came out and cut a promo, right? And she talked about all these transgressions that have happened in her life and why that makes her such a great pro wrestler. I think it's for those same reasons that WWE said she's not worth a little bit of the headache that she gives to us. And time will tell. We don't even know
if she can still wrestle. Now, if we're talking about like if they regret having Paige when Paige was still like,
but that's different
because it felt very different. It didn't feel like the Paige that I knew from WWE.
There's a lack of confidence, but that happens over, she'll either get it back or she will crumble. The one of two things will happen, right? And we're already seeing, like, in her promo, she's come back and said, like, I said a couple things that weren't real. She talked about, I've wrestled all over the world at Madison Square Garden, this place.
She didn't really do those things.
So she goes, the Tokyo Dome. And then people, like, this is what fans do. They jumped in and go, you've never wrestled at the Tokyo Dome.
Shit.
So it turned out it was at, like, the Sumo Dome, which is a different dome. But, like, you have to... One of the things about cutting a promo is you have to be very careful. You can't go out there, especially in AEW, because in AEW, it is a rap battle, right? It is truth versus truth most of the time. It's not, you can't play it off in AEW as like, I was building a character, bro. Like, it really has to be like truth versus truth. So when you do things like that, you have to be careful.
To the fire.
I posted a video this week that I thought Britt Baker destroyed Saraya. I still feel that way. I don't think anything that Paige said resonated or really took like shots at Britt Baker. The card she's trying to play is you've been handed everything.
But when she was a fucking dentist.
But she was handed opportunities. But everybody's handed opportunities. That's what pro wrestling is. But let's not forget, Saraya, that you were born into a family that wrestles.
Yeah. And
so you had built in from the day you're born. This is what you were destined to do. So you had opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. And let's not forget that when you got to WWE, your first day on the main roster, you won the WWE Divas Championship, which that's unheard. You get catapulted into the front of the spotlight the minute that happens. So let's not talk about opportunity like you haven't been afforded all of the same opportunities that Britt Baker has been afforded. And then I still I understand and I appreciate when people get through hard shit, right? Like I said this about Moxley. I can't relate to it because I've never been an alcoholic. I've chose not to make those decisions in my life. I've chose to live a pretty straight edge, straight arrow life. So I don't resonate with those decisions when people go, I've been through a bunch of bad shit. It makes me better than you. I go, no. It means you made more bad decisions than me. And that's the way I feel about...
That's the truth. It's a hurtful truth, but it's
And that's
true.
the way I feel about Britt Baker is almost like, what? I'm supposed to retort now. And it's a lose-lose situation. It's why people do it, right? Because they say that shit. And if Britt Baker comes back and says something like, I don't give a fuck about what you've been through, they go, oh, you're insensitive. You're insensitive. So it's lose-lose, but I hate that form of argument when you go, I've been humiliated. Well, you chose to make a sex tape, right? You chose to let someone, do their business all over
that and just not recorded it.
Exactly,
that was
right?
a choice.
You can do all those things, and then when they get out there, you can't say that made me a better wrestler. Now, it might have made
not make you a better wrestler.
Might have made you a better person. I won't argue that, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't do anything. The humiliation and the drugs and the things that you've done, they don't give you an advantage. You don't get to use those against somebody who made good decisions and go, you don't have the experience that I have.
It is harder in life to make the good decision because it's not always the funnest decision. It's not always the easiest.
It's the same argument for someone like Britt Baker to go, I went through medical school.
Yeah.
That makes me better than you. It doesn't. It makes me different than you. But that's why I say Britt Baker destroyed her, because in Britt Baker's promo, she's talking about Britt Baker. What am I doing here? Britt Baker.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker. It's Britt Baker.
Yes.
In Britt Baker's promo, she talked about, Paige's big catchphrase is, this is my house.
Yeah.
And Britt Baker said, you didn't build this fucking house. You didn't lay one brick. You just showed up, and now you want to be a part of this, and you want to take this division over. But hold up!
I loved when she said you left your house to come to my house.
Yeah, I said I wish she would have gone one step further and said they kicked you out of your house.
Ooh,
they wouldn't let you go back in.
Like it.
All right, Lauren, let's talk about.
Wait, so one thing that's one of my crazy mind.
Finish it up.
Is that 1 second? Do you think that people who have been through alcoholism, all that stuff, that there is a pattern of wrestling being a trigger for them to repeat those behaviors?
No.
Okay.
I don't think wrestling
causes it. Do you think
it.
that, what's his name?
Moxley?
I can't think of his name.
Hardy.
Yes. Do you think that he's just the exception? He's just a person
I think it may have given him
is
access to drugs and stuff like that. But I also think Jeff Hardy, you got to talk about this crazy shit, and I need you to go back and watch. I think he's in pain. If you want to be real honest, I think that man's body hurts every day, Jeff Hardy.
Because of what he's done.
He's jumped off ladders. He's jumped off Titantrons.
Titantrons?
Yeah, this dude's done the most insane things you can think about in wrestling. You probably have to equate to Jeff Hardy. He's done some of the most insane shit.
Maybe that'll be one of the ones that we go back and watch.
We should. We'll go back and watch a few of them. But I think that is where his addictions may stem from. Is a little bit of just escaping some of that pain. All right. So let's talk about what I found on Twitter this week. I did find that there's a blue check dilemma. So Elon Musk has made it where you can pay $8 and be verified.
Ooh.
And Twitter is the fucking Wild West right now because there are so many parody accounts that have verified themselves. You don't know who the fuck is who. I'm scrolling through this shit. I don't know if this is wrestlers talking. So it is the Wild West of Twitter time right now. And I'm all about it.
Do you have to pay $8 flat rate or
it's $8 a month?
Oh, shit. So technically,
Twitter
somebody
Premium.
could steal your verification.
Oh, 100%.
Then.
I think it's already happening. I think it's happened to Elon Musk. It's happened to LeBron James. It's happened in a couple different places. But I do want to talk about what I found on Twitter. And number one is I found a tweet from Fightful Wrestling that said, if you could hang out with one wrestler for a day, who would that wrestler be?
Okay.
I'm asking you.
Me?
Yeah.
To be honest, so it's like a back and forth, right?
Okay.
I think it would be Sasha Banks just because I really like her. I think that she's kind of she'd be somebody I'd want to just hang out with. I've seen her in a couple of interviews, but I think Britt Baker might be more my jam now, and it would be more from like a geeked out fan.
So 100%, I'm gonna side with you because I think Adam Cole, I think Britt Baker, I think that whole my answer was gonna be Xavier Woods.
Okay.
Because the whole up down down, that's my life, right? Is wrestling, video games, work, family. That's it. That is the 4 components of my life. So I think it's weird. It's funny because when this question is asked, there's 2 ways you can go. You can go try to meet a hero, right?
Yeah.
Which these aren't my heroes, but I'm saying from even a kid standpoint, you go try to meet a hero, or you could try to meet someone you think you'll get along with. Like I don't think I would get along with Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I think he's wild, and I'm very low key. So I don't know that I would love that interaction. And like I don't know that I would love Roman Reigns. I don't know that I would love the Usos. They just move at a different pace than I do. But I think like Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston and Big E, I think that's like my high school group of friends.
Yeah.
That's like the people I would gravitate.
Interviews. He's like real chill and cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're funny, they laugh, they joke, they talk stupidly. That's the group of people that I would gravitate and want to hang out with, would be like the New Day. I think 100%, if I could choose who I'm hanging out with, it's the New Day.
Yeah.
The second thing I have here, Lauren, I want you to take a look at is this poster, and I showed it to you earlier, but I'm showing it to the people here, is who will be the remaining participants in the Survivor Series War Games? We talked about this a little bit last week, but we can talk about it a little bit more right now, just quickly.
So
we
we're
don't
going to
have to
go
spend a
side
lot
by
of time
side or
on
just total?
So there's 3 spots essentially left. There's
So
one.
right now we have...
You got Bailey, Damage Control, and Nikki Cross. That leaves 1 spot on that team. Then you have Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka, and that leaves 2 spots on that team.
Okay.
Naturally, it to me felt like if it depends. If Triple H is trying to blow this match and make it huge, I think you insert Charlotte onto Damage Control.
Oh, okay.
You bring her back in that heel capacity, and you put Sasha and Naomi, if there's any chance they're coming back, on Team Bianca.
I mean, that would be awesome. I was thinking like Rhea and I can't think of her name, the Latina tall girl, Raquel Rodriguez, and then on the other team, and then I don't know who the third one would be.
I've seen a lot of Rhea. I believe they're trying to keep her away from women's wrestling right now. I think they're trying to keep her involved. I think they will have their own match.
Is it because there's not really a place for her right now?
No, I think there's an allure with her right now that she's beating up on the men and she's bigger than women's wrestling. And I don't think if you drag her back into the women's division at this point in time, she has to dominate, right? She has to just destroy everybody. Because then she can't go back and beat up on Luke Gallows and be believable anymore.
Exactly.
So right now she's in this weird like China aura where she continues to do her thing on her side. I think that very possibly Judgment Day is part of the other War Games match.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of people say Rhea Ripley. I don't think it's Rhea Ripley. Another 2 names that I've seen thrown around is, if you remember, Damage Control hurt Candice LeRae, the Poison Pixie.
Yes.
She could come back. I've seen the name thrown around, Becky Lynch. Ooh. Becky had kind of sided with Bianca before she left, and it feels like we're getting far enough away from SummerSlam that she could be ready to go, especially in a match where you don't have to take the burden of the workload. It's a good match.
They've done a good job of keeping me entertained without feeling like, where's Becky, where's Charlotte? Like, I actually have not thought about them for a while, even though for a long time they were what I wanted to be entertained.
Well, I mean, if you want to be brutally honest, that's 1 and 2 in the women's division. Mm-hmm. That's your top 2 women is Becky and Charlotte. So they've done a good job of elevating Ronda, using Liv, using Bianca, using Bailey. They've weathered this storm, and I think we are in the midst of getting back Charlotte and Becky.
I think it was a good opportunity to showcase other people and kind of give us more than just the same. So,
all right. So the last thing I want to show was a fan-made poster I saw from WrestleBuddy on Twitter, and it says, "Are we going to see this?" And essentially, for anybody listening, it's a poster of the Bloodline in a Survivor Series War Game against a team of Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Riddle, Gargano, and Sheamus. That's a hell of a team. You make a hell of a splash. I feel like if you're going to try and take on the Bloodline, that would be a fun squad to put together. But, I don't know. The question still remains is he Roman even going to show up at War Games, or is he done for the minute, or
I don't know.
All right,
But what do they all have in common though? Like it's a cool match, but like what?
Nothing. I think I think at a certain point there's got to be this idea that we have to destroy the bloodline
at any cost.
So it's like
we're all going to come together.
The
and
enemy
fuck
of my
them up.
enemy is my friend. That's what they have together. Is right. It was at a certain point these guys are running rampant over a division and they're holding all of these titles hostage.
I mean, it's got to be epic when this happens. Like,
I
if
agree.
not, it can't be like a Money in the Bank type
It's
thing.
going to have to be a huge demise, and it's going to be it's weird because we're in the moment right now, but it's going to come to an end, and that's our topic of the day. We'll get there, but like there's going to come a point in time where we're going to look back and go, you remember this epic run?
Yeah.
And like now we're back into these other little runs. All right, Lauren, I have a couple questions for you after watching wrestling this week. Number one, do you think that Alexa Bliss is part of Bray Wyatt's story?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, literally the little happens for nobody else but her. And you even notice like at sometimes she'll like stop and then something happens. It's like little things that she does.
But you don't think that's just a tease?
For what though? For him? I mean, why would it just be when she's there and not when like it's anybody?
I guess so. I think more importantly what we're getting, and I'm losing here, but I'll keep talking. I think more importantly what we're getting is I think Bray's going to have to confront his past. I think that's essentially what we're getting. I think that...
Oh, and because him and Alexa had the whole playground thing?
Yeah, so I don't know that necessarily this is going to be about Alexa as much as it's going to be about...
I came in towards the end of like Alexa's playground.
Yeah.
How did her and Braun come together? What exactly happened?
I think she kind of was hanging around. I don't remember exactly. I wasn't watching a lot back then, but I think she was in the fun house a couple times and he kind of twisted her.
She took over, and then I just remember him turning like all black or something into
that
like that tar or something.
Yeah, remember that was how it kind of ended, was with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, and she spit the tar all over.
Yeah.
Who did she spit it on, Bray or Randy? So I don't remember exactly how it happened, but that's I don't know that she's going to be like integral. I think what we're going to see is Bray kind of cycle through moments of his career, right? So he may do like a couple weeks with Alexa and then move on to a couple weeks with Bo Dallas and then move on to a couple weeks
do
with
what
like
with them though?
I think he's going to be conquering these things in order to get to, I don't know. I'm guessing, right?
I mean, when is there going to be actual wrestling though? Like,
well, he could wrestle a match that involved Alexa Bliss, and then he could wrestle a match that involved Bo Dallas and things like that. This could be a long-term story arc that leads to him actually, paying off with like conquering this character at some point.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, but I think that it's interesting. I do feel like at some time though, we'll have to get some sort of idea like when is he actually going to wrestle though.
Yeah, I agree.
Second
question I have for you here, Lauren, is Triple H bringing back too many wrestlers that cater to the IWC?
So at this point, yes, I think yes. Who was the girl who beat Rhea Ripley? What was her name again?
Mia Yim.
Yeah, I had no idea who the fuck Mia Yim was. I know you told me she came back, and you had watched it before me because I wasn't able to watch it, but there's so much other talent there that I'd like to see more of. Like, quit giving me more. Like, I can't figure out which flavor of ice cream I like if you keep on adding.
So I'm going to jump in because I'm going to translate this from... The reason I'm asking you these questions is because while I say I'm a casual fan, I am a high-level casual fan. Yeah. You are the ultimate WWE audience of casual fan. You leave wrestling. You don't go look things up. You're not watching NXT. You take the product that is placed in front of you, you digest it, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So I think what you're trying to say is like, while Mia Yim caters to the group of people who know who Mia Yim is, to you, you're like, here we go. Who is this? Who is this person that showed up on my TV? And I think that is why I'm asking that question. Because I asked that question on TikTok earlier this week, and people were like, what are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? Too many surprise returns. And what I'm talking about is, for fans who don't know who Mia Yim is, Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano.
Didn't know who he was.
When you don't know who these people are, that is catering to a certain audience, right? That black and gold NXT, the IWC. And to fans who are just casual fans, they're having to play catch up. Now it's okay to do that once or twice, but when on a weekly basis you're introducing, imagine trying to watch like Game of Thrones. Emma's another good one, right? And every week we just introduce a new character that only some people know about from like a book that was written way before the show started. It gets confusing. You can only introduce so many new characters, and it now feels like a weekly occurrence. You said it, right? I don't want to have to
do a bunch of research in order to figure out who this person is. And
I'm able to a little bit go, this is why this person matters. But to somebody who's just watching, it may feel like
overwhelming.
And to me, Triple H came out of the gates hot, right? Because at SummerSlam, he got Damage Control back. He got Bayley back. He was afforded those opportunities. Then at Clash at the Castle, he was able to do Drew McIntyre. He was able to do Sheamus and Gunther. So he came out hot. I've made the argument that after those two premium live events, the booking isn't as extraordinary as everybody's trying to give Triple H credit for right now. Yeah. It's good. It's better than it's been. But let's slow down on this idea that Triple H has just fixed all the problems, because as I watch, I'm starting to see a little bit of that, like, just IWC mentality creep in with lots of returns and a lot of current superstars who seem lost and don't have stories, right? Like the Dexter Lumis and Miz thing. Lumis comes back and then it gets real fucking messy because it feels like, oh, we didn't know what we were really doing here. We just knew that people would pop when Lumis showed up, right? Yeah. With Gargano, it felt like Gargano was going to come in and make a splash, and then it's like, oh, we didn't know what we were doing, so let's insert Gargano into a storyline with Miz and Lumis, right? Yeah. It feels like a little bit of, I'm going to say a little Tony Khan-ish, that these people are coming back, and then it's kind of like, oh, we still have to like do something interesting with these people. We have to put them somewhere that makes sense. So I'm not jumping off the ship. I still think Triple H is doing a good job, above average job. But I think that like he came out of the gate so hot that we all were just like, this is the new WWE. But I think if you sit back and you really look, like there is a little bit of the same thing going on week to week. Mm-hmm. Okay, Lauren, here we go. What was your favorite part of Crown Jewel?
So to be honest, I honestly don't know. And I might get some flack for this, but Crown Jewel was underwhelming for me. I honestly can't even point out a part that was my favorite.
You're actually like playing into what I just said. I saw people who were like, did you watch Crown Jewel? And I was like, yeah, I watched it. And it was underwhelming.
Honestly.
It felt like a card full. It felt like what I thought SummerSlam was going to be. A card full of big time matches that was a little bit predictable in the sense that like nothing real interesting happened. Yeah. And
it wasn't horrible.
Look, Logan versus Roman was good.
I mean, that would probably be my favorite thing, right?
Logan did an amazing job.
The most interesting thing.
Logan kept it interesting. Logan had the moment of the night. If you talk about like moments of the night, Logan had it. The jump off of the top ropes, holding the phone, moment of the night. So here's where you have to set expectations. If Logan Paul, which taking nothing away from him, but if he has moment of the night, you got to look around the card and go, what did everybody else do, right? Drew and Karrion, I don't think that performed to the level that I want it to. Now, we heard Drew McIntyre might have been sick. That's fine. But I just don't, that match felt like more of the same. Could have happened on SmackDown. Yeah. And I'd have been completely fine. More mace to the face. Like, so Scarlett's thing is she just carries around mace and she's allowed to mace people. Yeah. Okay.
Well, when everybody just mace people.
Feels like everybody should carry out some mace to the ring and just start macing each other. Because it does feel like.
Or she just needs to get a girl with mace.
I'm right. Or get a manager that carries mace. I don't like that. Doesn't one time I get it, but continuing to go back to that bag of tricks, I'm like, all right. And then like, I hate the finishes where it's like a race to get out of the cage. You guys have been talking about fighting for the last 3 months. Yeah. And now you're trying to escape each other. Just go in there and beat the life out of each other. Right. Yeah. One of the coolest things from Crown Jewel was the drones. I mean, that's funny, but like my biggest takeaway was how fucking cool the drones were.
That was so fucking cool.
That to me was maybe better than I'd say almost every other match. I see people praising the Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley match, and what I've tried to speak about that is the match itself was not a great match. Having Brock Lesnar have the length of the match, having Brock Lesnar get beat up wasn't great. I do think that Bobby Lashley's performance was good. Mm-hmm. So I do think it did a good job of building this new Bobby Lashley that they're building. I just don't think the match was an exceptional match. The pin where they fall backwards and Bobby gets pinned because, like, you know the rules at this point. You've been doing it for this long. Don't act surprised.
I agree.
But I like you, I thought it was underwhelming. I thought that the crowd was underwhelming. I don't think that Saudi Arabia crowd, while they pop for everything and they get excited, they didn't have the energy from minute one to, like, when in UK Clash at the Castle, that
nonstop.
fucking crowd was in for everything that happened. It didn't matter what it was. They were there for it. In Saudi Arabia, sometimes I don't know if that's a camera issue or like a microphone issue that it's not picking up the crowd.
I told you, like, during the women's match,
it was just like silence.
Silent.
And so if they're not going to respond to that, you either don't do those matches or you have to find more interesting matches.
Our daughters
that they
were
care
watching
about.
with us at one point and kind of were like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I mean, it was weird.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 39 is coming up.
I know.
We just talked about it, right?
Yeah.
And the rumor continues to be that we're getting Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair. But I have a question for you because I thought about this.
Okay.
Would you rather have Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair, or WWE teased on this past Monday Bianca and Rhea Ripley? What do you prefer for WrestleMania?
So Bianca and Rhea Ripley, right?
Me too.
I'm saying, I mean, I think it's Bianca and Rhea Ripley because, like, I've already seen Charlotte
Same song
and Bianca.
dance. Same song and dance,
I want
man.
something different.
Fresh blood.
We had talked about this, I think, one time that we were talking about them, that they're like a new breed of wrestler. They're strong. They're pretty.
They're everything. They're everything the men are.
Yeah.
Athletic, pretty women, big, strong. They can do these phenomenal. They are hybrids of what. Like, there was a time where WWE was all just women who could wrestle real good. Then there was a time where they went and did a model search. Now they have these hybrid women who can do everything.
Yeah.
And it's extremely impressive. Now, this is taking nothing away from Charlotte. Charlotte is good at. Charlotte is
I just
probably
want
the
something
best.
different because she's been a champion like how many, like 27 times? And that's exaggeration.
I know what
but
you mean. Also, we've seen it. I'm just talking about Charlotte. We've seen it. And she's been gone. There's no build. Right now, they have the perfect opportunity. Bianca, hold on to the belt all the way to WrestleMania. Keep building Rhea up, and you can have them on this collision course where it is. Nobody can beat Bianca except the girl who's been beaten up on the boys.
Yes.
And so I think if you did that, you could have a collision course that actually made for a super interesting match. With Charlotte, it's going to be the same story, right? Charlotte's unbeatable. Charlotte's going for, like you said, her 37th championship. She has to overcome these odds. And like I said, it's nothing against Charlotte. Let's have 3 women's matches. Let's have 4 women's matches on the card. There's that many women to have. But as far as Bianca Belair goes, I think that you could start building an epic rivalry between her and Rhea Ripley if you start now and continue to build towards that moment.
Yeah. I even think when Charlotte comes back, it'd be interesting how they bring her back. Like, does she come back like different because she's married now and she's nice, or is she just gonna be like,
she'll be healed?
Hey, fuckers.
Nah, she said on that Stone Cold podcast, she just works better as a heel, and so she'll play heel. Last question, and this kind of plays into what we were talking about. Do you think the United States title can work on the main the Monday Night roster as the main title? This is from, I want this 100%. I don't overthink this from a casual fan's perspective. You don't have the history that people have with that belt. Can you buy into the idea that that is a world heavyweight championship?
So I am not going to lie. I get confused on which belt is which. And I know that one supposedly is better than the other, but like, to me, having a belt is a belt and like, you're the champion.
Interesting. That's not what I was expecting, but that's interesting. Let me first give you a quick lesson.
Give me a rundown, please.
And then everybody in the IWC will fucking kill me for it. Here's how I view the titles. You have the WWE Championship, which is the black one. The one that's behind me. You have the Universal Championship, which is the blue one.
Yes.
They combine those. We now have an undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. But those 2 belts were what I would call the major card belts. That's where Roman Reigns fights. That's where Drew McIntyre fights. Those belts were designed to main event the shows.
Yes.
Okay. Then you move down a tier and you have what we call mid-card belts. And that is your Intercontinental belt, what Gunther has, and the United States Championship, which Seth Rollins has. And those belts were designed to elevate a superstar who needs it. Like, Seth hasn't had a title in a while. Put it on him. We can elevate him. A young guy who's up and coming. We want to see how he does. Put it on him. Bring it up.
Okay.
So that's kind of been the hierarchy for a long time. The idea now is that those two belts are kind of stuck on Roman. There was a rumor that went around that they had a plan to pull the belts apart, but it was very confusing. So they eventually, right decision, just said, fuck it. We've already stickied this up. Leave it the way it is. Yeah. And I think the right decision was to move that title up. Now, here's what I say. How would you feel? Like, do you think that belt needs a new... I love the belt design, first and foremost. I love the plates. I think the plates look like a world title. Yeah. There's times I look at the United States title and go, that is the prettiest belt that WWE has right now. I want to get one for my shelf behind me. But what do you think about like a new coat of paint? Like a white strap, a red strap? Something that makes it feel like it's changed.
I 100% think that that's good because I think symbolism means a lot.
I do too.
Especially to like people like me. Oh, the red one, it's the blue one, it's the black one, it's the white one, right?
As stupid as it sounds, symbolism means so much. What would it not feel prestigious if there was on Monday Night Raw a title elevation ceremony, right?
Yeah.
Where they come out and they openly admit we are elevating this title from mid-card status to main event status. And they unveil a new belt, some little changes, just some little changes that make it feel more like a world heavyweight championship. I'm with you on that. Symbolism is huge.
To clarify exactly what is what right now, right? Because like I just told you, I didn't know which belt was which. And I know that's a dumb question and people are probably going to be like, how
most people do.
But, you know.
I agree. But I just
for
think
people like me.
Well, no, but I said the messaging was messy on that. Like I read into it and said, oh, they're elevating that title.
Yeah.
But like, why not just for like, it's like wrestling for dummies. They love ceremonies. They love putting tables and carpets in the ring. Come out and go, it's a United States Championship elevation ceremony. We're elevating this title to the next level.
Yeah, for sure.
Last topic here, Lauren. This is topic of the week. And this was something that I started thinking about after, because I was a big proponent. You chose Logan Paul. I all week was on the fence about Logan Paul because as we come around the corner back towards WrestleMania, the question has to be asked at this point is, who is left to dethrone Roman Reigns? I mean, really, like, who is there? And I put a list here of 6 people that we can talk about.
Okay.
These were the 6 people I thought legitimately, and some of them are long shots, guys. I get it. These aren't people that I think are going to do it, but these are people that I think are viable options to dethrone Roman Reigns for the title. And number 1, this is the longest shot on the list, but it's CM Punk. You want to shock the world? You want to fucking set the wrestling world on fire? You have CM Punk show up at Royal Rumble, defeat Roman Reigns, take the belt, and do whatever.
We don't know what the fuck he's up to at AEW.
Wait, so he's commentating in UFC again.
Oh, really?
So I saw that today. So I mean, I think he's done. Yeah. I don't know if there's even an opportunity for him in WWE. I don't think it's the right decision. But you want to shock the world? That's the guy to do it. That you talk about. I mean, a big middle finger to.
I don't think Tony would let him go, but
Well, he's going to buy out that contract. He doesn't want to pay CM Punk all that money.
Yeah.
To just sit around at home, right? I mean, why would you pay him all that money?
Yeah.
Second name I have on this list is Cody Rhodes. And I think, to me,
that sounds very viable.
This is the safest bet. The safest bet on my list is that Cody can get over.
Yeah.
He came back and his whole aspiration was, I want the belt. That's what I'm here for. I came to do what my dad never did. And that's, so it seems to me that culminating at minus one name on this list, that culminating at WrestleMania is the biggest moment you can have, because nothing against Cody, but he's going to cry his fucking eyes out, right? And you talk about imagery. WWE is so big on imagery. You see at the end of these premium live events I want you to watch, these guys gather up for that final moment, that final picture. And you talk about the picture of Cody on his knees in front of the belt crying.
Yeah.
That transcends fucking time.
Yeah.
To me. So that's my odds on favorite if The Rock doesn't show up at WrestleMania.
Ooh,
so The Rock is third on the list. And I think at this point, I didn't want to believe it, but I think we're riding this train all the way to fucking WrestleMania. But here's the problem. Mm-hmm. I think if I'm placing odds on this, The Rock is not going to beat Roman Reigns. I think he may be in a match with Roman Reigns, but do you have this 2-year long, 3-year long build to have The Rock come in and like dethrone Roman as head of the table?
No,
and
because
then disappear again?
exactly. We're going to be in another situation where we have a title that's not anywhere every week.
Well, yeah, I'm not even worried about that. I'm talking about the position of The Rock disappears, and now Roman's character is destroyed because he spent this whole time saying, I'm head of the table, and then you go, no, Daddy's home, right? Daddy's home. Daddy's head of the table.
Yeah.
I think Roman has to win that match. So if Roman carries the belt to WrestleMania, I think Roman wins that fucking match, and here we are. Roman's still champion after WrestleMania.
True.
Which is why I think Bray Wyatt is a good option.
Oh, I didn't even think
I think
of
as
him.
Bray Wyatt conquers all these demons and he kind of gets through his
final
story,
one is
to regain that belt.
that could be interesting.
I think
I could
that's
see that.
ultimately like if he conquers the demons along his path. The Wyatt 6 could be actually 6 like phases that he needs to conquer to actually figure out who he really is. And talk about like a hell of a story is if he's beating like video game levels to level up his character and he comes out and let's say you do The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania and then it's the month after like Backlash or whatever it is where Bray has defeated his last demon.
I'm ready.
And it's like it's time.
Did you like
I
my
think
impression?
I did like it.
Thank you.
Even though he doesn't talk like that. He doesn't talk anything like that. Jey Uso. What do you think about Jey Uso?
Oh, I mean, I've seen a couple times that he like steps up.
He's risen
and then
up.
he's like, nah.
I don't know, like, once again, passing the title from Roman to
family.
Jey. Yeah, I don't like it causes some internal turmoil within the bloodline, but I don't think it does a lot for the rest of the roster. So I don't think that's the way you go. Last one here. Sami Zayn.
Ooh.
If you're going to transition out of this thing, Sammy beating Roman Reigns.
Probably go crazy.
This is Daniel Bryan 2.0.
Yeah.
This is ultimate fan service. This is giving the fan. Oh my God. If he, I don't know. You can't do it at WrestleMania. It's not.
Uzi.
I just don't know. I don't know how we get there. I don't, because it's not big enough to be WrestleMania.
He has a way with the crowd that like he got everybody to start saying Uzi.
I agree. To me, from like even going back to Money in the Bank, I think he should have been the Money in the Bank winner.
Yeah.
I think they fucked up on that. I think he should be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns, but I can't inside my head book this to how we get there. If you do it before WrestleMania, if Sami Zayn beats Roman Reigns before WrestleMania, I think you take all the momentum out of Roman Reigns.
What if the Money in the Bank is at WrestleMania? Sami Zayn wins Money in the Bank, and then he cashes it in at WrestleMania to dethrone Roman Reigns.
The Rock.
Oh, dethrone The Rock.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's awesome.
The Rock beats Roman. Sammy comes back, wins the titles, and then offers them back to Roman Reigns.
Oh, that would be super crazy.
And Roman's like, no, I want to fight you for them.
Damn.
Hey, we just booked WrestleMania.
We did.
We just booked the main event
Geniuses.
of WrestleMania. We did.
All right.
All right, let's end the show with 20 questions, Lauren.
Okay.
This is our first episode where we're going to do 20 questions. I think, so I didn't dig deep into the roster for this one, but I also didn't just like throw you a softball here. So I think I'll keep the count on my hands, but you have 20 questions, yes or no questions. We used to play this game in a flipped order before. I thought you were ready, but the intention was always to get to a point where you could play the game because I can answer the questions.
Yes.
Question number 1.
Okay. Are they on Raw?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a girl?
No.
Are they bald?
No.
Do they have blonde hair?
No.
Do they have curly hair?
No, not in a traditional sense, no.
What the fuck does in a traditional sense mean?
No.
Curly, and when I say curly, I mean
no.
like dun, dun,
I said
dun.
no.
Okay. So not long hair and it's not curly. Or it is long hair. Wait, do we say long hair?
Never said that.
Do they have long hair?
No.
Long hair meaning like
No. It's not long. It's not even close to long.
so they have brown hair, short hair, it's a boy. They're on Raw.
6 questions.
Okay. Are they white?
No.
Okay. Brown hair. Are they Oriental?
No, I think that's offensive.
I don't know what's appropriate. I'm sorry. Chinese, Oriental, okay. Are they Mexican?
No.
Or like,
No.
brown? Okay. Are they part of the New Day?
No. That's 10.
Oh, shit. Okay. They're all white. Are they a flippy flip guy?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Okay. I would say yes, but I think I'm afraid it's going to lead you down the wrong path.
Okay. Did they show up on last Monday's Raw?
No. That is 12.
Okay. Not long hair, so it's not.
Just fire off questions.
Okay.
I'm going to time you next time.
Ew, shit. I can't think of any more. Okay. So they're a boy. They have short hair. I'm assuming African American.
Yes.
They're African American.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's 13.
Have they been a 24/7 champion?
No. That's
Okay.
14.
And they have short hair.
Uh-huh.
They're not part of the New Day.
Nope.
Did he ever, like, step up to somebody? Was he wearing an all yellow outfit at one time and step up to somebody and say, like, I'm going to beat you? We saw him on TV.
That is a wildly specific question that I can't answer.
He came on TV and he's like, he stepped up. He was part of a group. Was he ever part of a group with Bobby Lashley?
No.
Okay, so
15.
it's not that guy. Is it somebody I've seen on TV before?
Yes, 16.
Okay. Is this somebody I actually know?
Yes, 17.
Ew. Damn, I just looked at the roster too. Am I allowed to look at my roster?
No.
Okay, is that 18?
No. I won't count that as a question.
Okay.
You're thinking too hard.
This is somebody
17.
I know? Okay.
You have two questions and you get to ask who it is.
Okay.
I thought this was a give me. I really thought you had this one no problem. And you were on the right track early.
Okay. Do you have a signed piece of memorabilia from him?
No.
It's not our truth
18.
then.
Two
Where the
questions.
fuck was I on it early? It was
Two
the
questions.
New Day.
Two questions. Let's
Bobby
go.
Lashley.
I believe you have one question and an answer.
Are they part of Hit Row?
No. I need an answer.
Okay. It is.
Take yourself back through your line of questioning.
Okay. African American man.
Monday
with
Night
short
Raw.
Hair, Monday Night Raw. Not part of the bloodline.
Can do flippy flips.
Is it Ricochet?
No, that was the wrong answer. It was Montez Ford.
Oh, how did I not think
I
of
don't
Montez
know.
Ford?
I don't know.
I thought of everybody but
I
him.
know. I thought for
and I
sure.
literally even thought of
Angela
man.
Dawkins?
Yes. And
I
I
thought for
literally
sure you
saw
had it.
that on the list before. I was like, Angela Dawkins, blah, 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 blah. And I prepared myself.
I mean, so would you say that's fair to say, like Flippy Flip? He's
a flippy
up
flip
in the
guy.
air, but I think he's a little of both.
But you were right where you said like he's not in the traditional sense or whatever.
Yeah, he's not relying on the flippy flips, but he can do the flippy flips.
That was a good one.
All right, so you're 0 for 1. I came out of the. I'm gonna write this down. 0 for 1.
Let's see how many I can win.
I think we'll keep your record here on here.
We can time it next time if you want to.
So yeah, we're gonna have to time it because I gotta get you to.
I'm gonna get better prepared on having
You should have your questions pre-written down
so that then I know.
This has been another episode of the CWC Wrestling Podcast. Make sure to tune in every week on either YouTube or Spotify. And please leave a comment on TikTok or YouTube or wherever you watch this show. As always, I am the Notorious Nerdy D. That is Level Up Lauren. And we will see you guys, or I will see you guys on Monday. Ring the bell.
Ding, ding, ding.
Step in the ring, if you ready, let's go. Ay, casual wrestling community show. You already know, talking WWE. Keep it rolling and hosted by Notorious Nerdy D. Don't for show that you gon' find. Tune in cause it's online. Hit 'em with a figure 4 leg lock, power driver, or clothesline.